Okay. Sorry, I'm just moving desks here.
No problem.
So how you guys doing today?
Good, thank you. Good morning.
Yeah. Morning. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here in Toronto. Finally getting some nice weather up here.
Good.
Okay, so first of all, thanks for taking the time to check out Hubbli. Sounds like you guys had some initial questions, so I'm certainly happy to field your questions. And I'm wondering if it makes sense that I just go into our standard presentation. It might answer some of your questions. Generally, that's what happens. And then if not, we can certainly get into any specifics. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes.
Okay, great. And just want to make sure you're okay. You should probably not see my screen just yet. All right. So are you seeing the screen that says all-in-one parent communication system?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. All right. So basically, that's what Hubbli is, right? we're here to help you help simplify and improve parent engagement from the point of marketing to prospective parents, managing communication with enrolled parents, and also even past enrollment and through the alumni relations. The results of our system is to reduce your workload. It'll cut down costs dramatically because managing communication with parents is a very broad term, but what we're talking about is any way that you send information to parents and any way that you gather information from parents, and then how you manage that information and that data. It's very time consuming for schools to do all this stuff, and we reduce the workload drastically. We save you tons of time, and we actually help you reduce your costs too. And we also help you increase parent engagement, and we help you grow your revenue as well. So first and foremost, we're here to improve communication because that has a really amazing direct result on the children, on their outcomes. It makes everyone's lives easier when communication is streamlined and simple. And it has a great net result on the actual business itself. It will reduce expenses and increase revenues. The reason why we exist is because what we see at schools is that there's on average about 20 different communication tools and information management tools being used on average per school. Each one takes hours per month usually to just maintain and keep up to date, and they're all separate. So somebody's manually updating, somebody or multiple people are manually updating all these different systems. And then usually schools are still using a lot of paper in the office, which itself costs money, printer ink, photocopy repairs, sending postage a lot of times. And there's just so many hours that go into managing paper. So that's generally about 50 hours per month. What we've actually come to find through doing a lot of research is that per 100 students, schools spend 40. So per 100 students, per staff member is spending about 40 hours per month just managing communication, not teaching, not being face-to-face with parents, not doing higher value things, but literally just managing communication tools, paper, shifting paper around, field trips, immunization records, all that type of thing, sending newsletters, calendars, all these different things. Just there's a lot of hours that go into it. And at the same time, the market for private schools is becoming more competitive. There's more, the market's growing. And due to that competition, schools are generally speaking not that well equipped on a marketing or business management level. And what we're seeing is that schools are having a harder time keeping enrollment up because there's schools opening up all over the place, and it's getting harder it's getting more competitive. And this is it's a good it's a nice, competition. It's not an ugly thing. Schools are good, but you still are operating a business. So you need tools to help you on the business side of things. Everything that's outside and around the classroom, like we don't really deal with teacher training or anything like that. We help the school manage all the customer service things between the school and the parents, making that easier, making the parents happier, keeping the retention rate up, making it easier to get word of mouth marketing and referrals, and helping you connect with parents that and more easily manage um, the enrollment process, and helping you identify getting more parents finding your school and coming into your enrollment process, and making it easier for you to identify if they're the right fit for your school, so they stick with you through the whole program and don't leave in a year because they weren't really a good fit for your school. Maybe Montessori wasn't a good match, or something. Um, so I'm just going to skip over a couple things here. So first and foremost, everything we have a whole, but we're like a kind of like a Swiss Army knife of tools for your school to manage communication. We bring everything into one place, and we have it really built specifically for schools, for Montessori schools. Um, and all of those features are delivered through the vehicle of a website. So about a lot of our schools use their Hubbli website as a replacement for their existing website, because most of the time schools don't have a great website, and it's not managed by a top-notch website designer. It's usually a parent volunteer or somebody that might not be that great, not usually not the cream of the crop for web design. And oftentimes it's they're not well optimized, they're not secure, they don't get found on search engines. So we give you a website that's really easy to customize and add your content. And we have all the technology. It's managed by us. We will update it and maintain it for you, and we're always making sure that it's the technology side of the website is always top notch, and we make sure it gets found on search engines, and that it's managed. So you never have to worry about it. And if you need an update, you can either easily make an update yourself, or you can use our team and make a request, and we'll make the updates for you. You're never left with a website that's out of date or unmanaged. And that's really just the vehicle that we deliver all of these other features through. Okay, so one of the core features of Hubbli is a private social network. So when you log into the website, it's like your own private Facebook. So there's groups for all the different programs or rooms. You can create groups for anything, for a parent committee, for the staff. But generally speaking, the main purpose of the group is to put the parents of the different programs in those groups, so it's really easy to communicate with those distinct groups of parents. So in the system, we have an enrollment system too, which automatically places the right parents in the right group. So you don't have to manage these things manually. The system puts them all in there automatically. So the two sort of main pillars of Hubbli is that, number one, we make it simple for you to communicate with, to send specific communications to specific groups of parents without having to do any extra work to organize, those different groups, because our system filters things automatically to the right parents, so that you're always and only sending 100% relevant information to every parent, and you're never sending them information that's irrelevant to them, which is one of the biggest mistakes that schools make today, is that they send a lot of information to all the parents, and most of it oftentimes is about everyone else's kids, and only a little bit is about their kids. And so that is actually training parents to ignore communication from the school, because nobody really likes that experience. And the other thing too is that we actually, although it's a great experience when parents do log in, they don't need to log in. We make it so parents don't actually have to log in. It sends them information to where they would go for it. And so I'll break that down soon. But let's say you're a teacher and you go into your group and you want to post something. So you could just, a quick reminder inside the group, kind of like a Facebook group. And you would say, hey, remember tomorrow's pizza day, just letting you know, or just, Don't worry, we have a gluten-free option, whatever it is. So that message will then go out to all the parents of that group. It can go out as it'll go out as an email notification from that teacher. So that same message that's here inside the group feed, right? If you notice, there's statistics there. It's highlighted in red. Will actually tell you who it got delivered to, who opened the message, who clicked on it, who replied to it. We always, for all your messages, we give you statistics so that you know exactly who read it, who's informed, and who's not informed, who didn't yet read it. So that message will come out as an email. It can also go out as a text message to the parents as well. So you can hit them in both places. And what's really important too is that if they actually if they have a question that they want to ask, they can just reply right from that email. They don't have to log in, because one of the core things to parent engagement is that you need to remove the roadblocks. You need to make sure that parents don't have to log in to get information or to respond to information. So I've been talking a lot, but I want to ask you guys, currently, so how many students do you have at your school?
Just about 70.
70, okay. So that's a pretty average size for our customers. And how many, like how are you currently managing communication when you need to send information to a specific group of parents or a specific parent for a child? Let's say a group. Let's start with that for one of your programs. How do you do that today?
We use another communication. Yeah, we use a communication system called School Queues.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very familiar. I was right beside them at the last AMS conference in the Dr. S.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Great guy.
Yeah.
And okay, so you're using school queues. So I think you probably understand the value then of communicating to different groups. So with do you use any other communication tools between the school and the parents?
That's mostly what we use. Or emailing like from our account, private email. Yeah.
Oh, private email is okay.
Mostly 90. I wouldn't say 98% if you. Yeah.
Okay. So what happens here is that when the parents get this email, right? I'm going to show you another diagram here. If you take a look at this, if let's say you're in the group, you're a teacher and you want to send a message out to the parents, so you send it out. It goes out to all the parents, and obviously it's 100% relevant because it's just about that one program. So the parents of all those children are going to get this message. Now they get that notification. If they have a question, they can do two things. They can click on the link of that email and go right into Hubbli and ask a specific. They can comment or reply on that post that was sent. But usually what they do is they just want to reply right from that email. And you want to make sure that they don't have to go log into a system or open up another app to reply. Wherever they get their email, what our goal is to make it match what the parents do with everything else, right? If you want parents to be informed and engage and get the information they need, you need to make sure that the information you have is hitting them where they go for everything else. And there's two, like as far as notifications go, it's either text message or it's email, and mostly email is the most important thing, right? Everyone's email goes into this one inbox, right? So you want to make sure that you're getting people there, and you want to make sure that right from there, right, the standard behavior of email inbox is if you have a follow-up question or you want to know some information, you just want to be able to hit reply, right? So we have accommodated that because that is what people do, no matter what system it is. Still, email is the most important place for notifications to land, and you want to make sure that your system that you're using is optimized for engagement right there at that point. It's so crucial actually that it might be one of our most important features. And right from there, parents can just reply right to that email. And what happens is the reply goes through Hubbli back to that teacher, right? And those two, like the teacher and the parent, can just reply, can keep on talking back and forth without ever having to even log into Hubbli. But there's an additional benefit here. That conversation is also archived as a private message conversation inside Hubbli between those two user profiles. So just like Facebook, you can private message somebody, you can do that inside Hubbli too. Everyone has a user profile and you can send messages to people. But you don't want them to have to log in. That's so important. So what happens is if they're replying back and forth and carrying on a conversation, it's also archived inside Hubbli as a private message conversation. And you as the admin have full access to that conversation. So you can go to anybody's profile and see all of their message history. And you actually can, so first foremost, it's there to make a better experience for your parents and your staff so that engagement happens and that it's easy and it's not annoying and click, click, click and log into this and all that stuff.
I'm sorry. Can I ask you a quick question? So
sure. Where's that voice coming from?
So in regards to the messaging, when you blast out a message to the parents to say a specific group to all the parents in one classroom, they will all get the message. But when one of them chooses to reply, that turns into a private message between the school and that parent.
Or do they all see it?
Or do all the parents see that reply?
No, it's very important that how people, so from that point, your parent would expect it to be a private message, and they might even say something that you would not want to go public. So when they reply to the notification, it turns into a private message conversation.
Between the school and that parent.
Between the user that sent it. So in this scenario, that would have been a teacher or an admin staff, right? It becomes a private message conversation, but they do have the ability, if they inside the, I'll just jump back for a second. If you notice, there's links at the bottom of the notification in the email. They can click on that. These links also exist inside the text message. They can click right on that link and it takes them right into that post. So right here. And so take them right back to this specific post. And if you notice, there's a comment thread underneath. That's a feature you can turn on or off. You don't have to allow commenting. So for some groups, you might want commenting on. For some, you might want to turn it off. Maybe you've got some problematic parents in there. You don't want them to post things for everyone to see or something. It's up to you. We give you full control over, who can do what. But there is great benefit to that feature. So sometimes, as an example, if a parent has a question, and maybe 10 other parents have the same question, the teacher can answer that question once for everybody, and it's right there. Sometimes that can really help with just efficiency of communicating, so that the teacher doesn't have to reply 20 separate times to 20 different parents. So that can be beneficial, but what's really important is that when you get an email like this and they reply, their expectations would be that it's just going to go right back to that teacher. So that's how it works.
And it's not visible for the rest of the group.
Exactly. Only it's a private message conversation between those two users. Admin, people have admin permissions, can see everything, but only you. And so generally speaking, nobody else would be able, no other parents or teachers or staff would be able to see it unless you had the right privileges.
Okay. Now, can one parent speak to another parent through that system?
Yes.
And is that also being archived?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, everything is archived.
We would have access to what the two parents are communicating.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so the next feature I want to talk about is our calendar feature. Every group, so there's a full school-wide calendar management system in Hubbli, and you as the admin can go into your dashboard and you can create an event for the whole school, or you can assign it to one or multiple groups. And so what happens is there's the school-wide calendar, and also each group has its own calendar. So the events that are assigned to the groups will show up in the individual group calendars. Now, again, as I mentioned, you don't want parents to log in to see what's going on. So two things happen here. Number one, if they do log in and they go to the main school calendar, they're going to see only events that are to them. And this is how our system works with everything. We filter away information that is irrelevant to every different user. So if a parent is not a member of preschool AM or something, they don't need to see events and information for that. So the system removes it out of their view and only shows them things that matter to them. That's if they log in. In addition to that, if they can subscribe to the calendars, whether it's the school-wide calendar or the individual group calendars, and they can even subscribe to specific events. If they want to save a specific event only, if they want to go through the calendar and only save certain events, they can save those certain events to their calendar, their phone or their Google Calendar or Outlook, whatever they prefer to use. So again, our stance is that you need to have a system that makes it easy for parents to automatically have that information show up where they use, that they currently use. So obviously if they log into Hubbli, you want it to be a great experience and for them 100% relevant information. That's really important. But also when they connect their existing tools to Hubbli, it just shows up where, so if you add an event and they've subscribed to that group or they're a member of that group, it'll just show up in their iPhone or Android or on their.
If the parent logs in, are they logging into a website or is it an app on their phone, or how does that work?
It's a website.
It's a website. Do you also have an app on the phone?
No, so we don't have a native mobile app, but the way, and there's a reason. First of all, we don't think parents actually want an app, but what happens is our notifications go into their emails. So the way this system really works is that you're sending information to them, they're getting notifications. Each of those notifications has a link. They can click on it and take them right. So what it would do, let's say they're on their phone. Aside from things showing up in their phone calendar automatically or showing up in their email, which is just their email on their phone, if they get an email notification or a text notification, they click on it, it opens up the browser on the phone and takes them to a mobile designed version of that, whatever it is, that event or that message or that newsletter. So everything is designed for mobile, but generally speaking, they don't need to really log in from their phone. If they do want to log in, it's great. It's designed for mobile, so it's optimized for that experience. But generally speaking, information comes to them through email or text notifications, and they click on it, which leads them right into the mobile designed page for that feature, whatever it may be.
Are there two versions of the website, of your website? Is there a mobile version and then the desktop version?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a version for desktop, for tablet, and for mobile.
Okay.
So the design is responsive to all those different sizes. Then moving down, so this is our newsletter feature. So this very much like the events. You as the admin, you can go to the admin dashboard and create a newsletter for the whole school, or you can send it to specific groups, or you can even send it to roles like parents or teachers or whatnot. But usually, it's like to the whole school. And but also, a teacher could go into their group and send a newsletter from their group. This is just what our newsletter designer looks like. It has all the kind of standard features of a newsletter tool like Constant Contact or MailChimp. You can start from various templates and then make them your own. You can keep cloning from a previous newsletter, so you don't have to, start from scratch every time. You can schedule them to go out later, and obviously you can track, all the same components work, meaning all the tracking, and also, again, if a parent replies to it, it is a private. So you sent a newsletter to the whole school. If a parent replies, they're just replying directly back to that the staff member that sent it. And again, becomes a private message conversation between those.
It's all being accessed through your website, so we would log into your website as the administrator and create all this from your website.
Exactly, yeah. So it's more than a website. The website is really just the vehicle where you access this suite of communication tools. And this is like kind of a standard, approach in what's called software as a service for various different kinds of businesses. But it's a cloud-based, tool that you log into to access all these different features.
Okay.
And this is our digital forms feature. So like this is how we reduce massive amounts of workload from your staff. So this is just an example of like, anything you do on paper as far as forms that parents fill out or any type of documentations that staff make. And I'll show you a couple different examples right now, but this would just be a very simple, field trip form. Let's say parents fill it out. They can, again, this form that you're seeing here on the right side, that's actually what it looks like on a mobile phone. It just, they can do a digital signature. It takes payment information, so it handles credit card payments. And so, the whole field trip, form can be done in like, 30 seconds on, mom's iPhone. So like, do you guys do many field trips as an example? So when you're doing a field trip, what's your process for managing all the paperwork?
Well, because we use the school queues, we just send them an email and they acknowledge but it's an app though that they use, and we don't take payments. The school queue doesn't offer that. We don't actually we don't take credit cards either. But they do acknowledge the field trip form through their app. So we
okay. Yeah. So as an example, it could be a field trip. We also, like, schools are using this tool for every part of the enrollment process, emergency information, immunization records, medical information. So these forms handle every single type of parent form scenario. And what's great is when they're collected, there's the job's done. So like, do you use any paper, or is School Queues kind of handling all of your parent forms right now?
Not enrollment forms, but calendars, snack calendars, field trips, parent-teacher conferences, text messaging.
Okay, so your enrollment forms. So when you collect your enrollment forms, what's the process like?
No, they do not handle our enrollment forms.
No, I'm saying, yeah, but how do you do it today?
We can go on our website and download it, and they bring it in.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard copy.
It's a hard copy.
It's a hard copy. Okay. And then so when they bring it in, what happens next?
Oh, we have to enter it, and it's all the enrollment process, entering it.
So you type it into another system? Okay. Yeah, and so for 70 kids, like, how long does that usually take? For like a
wow. And it's always random, because sometimes they start in January, sometimes they start in October. So, but do you guys do the enrollment form?
Yeah. So that's why I'm asking you all about this, because I just want to get a sense of what you're doing today. But basically, what happens is for any form that gets collected, so all of your enrollment forms, whether from inquiry through, admission, enrollment, every time a parent fills it out, so first of all, parents much prefer digital forms over dealing with paper themselves. but when it gets filled out, like the job's done. You don't have to enter it into another system. It's entered, and then you can look up all the information really quickly because it's in a digital filing system, and you can print off any of the forms. You can email them to people, and you can export all the data at any point in time too. And we can even connect our system to other cloud-based systems too, and like automatically send the data into another system. So we have like what's called middleware integration. So if you have another system, and it could just be any random system, like even like you just want all the information or data collected from this form to end up in a Google spreadsheet, we can actually just send it over there automatically because we have this integration with a tool called Zapier, which really helps schools just kind of use whatever tool they like in addition to Hubbli. So that's an example of like a parent form.
What about payment? Is it only credit card? Because usually we do ACHs or
Sure.
checks, which we don't like. But how do you receive enrollment payments, like the monthly tuition payments?
Yeah, so that's not done through our forms. Forms are really good for like incidentals. It could be in like a lot of schools use like the forms to collect like an application fee because it's like $100 or $200 or something, or pizza, lunch, or something kind of incidental and small. But more recently, and I'll show you, we do have a full invoice tuition management system. I'll show that to you in a minute, but I also just want to show you kind of another use case scenario for the forms. So this is like a teacher form, right? So something that a teacher would fill out. So as an example, let's say you're, taking attendance, or it's a sign in, sign out information, or let's say there's an incident report, right? So the teacher would open up the form and select the student, and it only presents the students they're connected to. And then they can, just usually for an incident report, it's a pretty short form, but there's a couple of like options like type of incident, maybe time of day, location in the school type of thing, and then, leave notes. So our system doesn't just collect the forms and give you like a digital filing system. We also we can create automated processes or workflows that are initiated by those form submissions. So another term for this is like marketing automation or workflow automation. So we've built those types of things the way schools need them into this system. So as an example, let's say teacher fills out an incident report, right? So at that point, for that type of scenario, you need to notify the parents, right? So our system can automatically send the parents the notification that has all the details from the forms and a message from the teacher. As an example, you might want to put another step in there. Maybe the teacher fills out the incident report, but first it goes to the administration, and somebody from the administration has to look at it and then click approve, and then it goes to the parent. But the point is that that just reduces like a number of small little steps that are all kind of 2 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 10 minutes here, but that's kind of the point of our system, is that we remove all those little 5 minutes and 10 minutes and sometimes 3 weeks over here and a month over there, depending on it's an enrollment process. But when a form is submitted about a child, every child has a page. It's a private page dedicated to every child, and all of their records show up on that page too. So it's kind of like a digital filing cabinet for that child. And in there, the parents have private access, and of course, you as the admin, you can go in and see everything. So there's a whole number of things that happen, and they can all be completely automated and run by the system. And we actually, just so you know, we actually set all this stuff up for you. We don't just expect you to learn everything and figure it all out and set it up. We have a really we're very service oriented, and when a school onboards with us, we really do all the work, and we let you just focus on learning the system. So we actually work with you to, you kind of just dump everything on us. You dump all your forms on us, you dump your database on us. We'll even, if you want to use Hubbli as your website, we'll migrate your website over onto Hubbli and do all that stuff for you. So you can just focus on learning how Hubbli works, and we have a great training program. And I'll get into that in a second. But coming back to this, we can just automate all these different things. And then there's, there's many examples because there's so many different things that you have to record. This tool works for, anything from attendance to progress reports, scope and sequences. Like we have schools using us for everything, and all that information, all those records, can be sent to the parent automatically, and it can also it'll also show up on the student's dedicated records page. We also have, appointment management too. So let's say for parent-teacher conferences or booking school tours, it works just as well for prospective parents as it does for existing parents. So you can create calendars and, create the availability of that particular calendar. People can, parents can come, select an available session. It becomes unavailable to somebody else, and it will send automated reminders and confirmations and, cancellation links that would, let's say a parent signed up for a parent-teacher conference and then something happened, they had to cancel, so they can just cancel from a notification that they get from the system, and then whoever needs to be notified can be notified, but then it'll automatically become that slot will become available to another parent, so another parent can come. Sorry, I'm just getting a Skype call I have to turn off here. Bear with me 1 second.
So how do the prospective parents have access to this system?
So they don't have to log in. So these features can be all used for, like, the general use case is that it's all behind the password, right? So like they need to log in to access it, but you can make forms available to the public. So that would be like an inquiry form. Obviously, could be available to the public, and the appointment calendars you can for whatever the situation is, you can make it available to the public or not. So our system is all the tools you use for communication can be used with the public or not. So again, most of the time, everything is meant to be for your existing parents that have a login, and then they can only access it when they log in. But at certain scenarios, it can be really helpful. So let me show you an example. So this is like an example workflow that we've set up for one of our customers. Actually, this one specifically is from the Newgate School, Tim Selden's school. They use Hubbli as well, and so, like, for a perspective, so this is a, sort of a prospective, parent interest through enrollment workflow that is completely managed by our system. So here's an example. So let's say they do a Google search, they find your website, or they click on a Facebook ad that you put up, and it takes them right to, the landing page that has the inquiry form. So that's our digital form, but it's been made publicly available. It's just a setting in the form, and they fill it out, and what happens is you or the admin can get a notification. It can create the family record is created, and then that prospective parent can start getting a sequence of timed emails that are, maybe spread, every 2 days they get another email that leads them to book that appointment for a tour, or maybe come to an open house, depending on how your school manages it. And then, and those emails are pre-written, and they can be a great way to engage the parents and help them figure out if this is a good school for them, sell them on the Montessori method or whatever it is, or maybe help them identify that they shouldn't be putting their kids in a Montessori school because they're not, maybe they don't have the right values or something. In any event, you can use it to help put people into your enrollment process that are really the best fit for your school. And then they book a tour, right? And then the system can send you a reminder. If you haven't done it yet, you can approve the parent for the application process, because obviously they've come in, you've met with them. I'm sure most of the time this is a good fit. Let's get this person to apply. So all you have to do is just tap something on a phone or one click, right? And then the next step is that parent will get an email that leads them to the application form. So it's a pre-written email, but it can be personalized to them. Right? We've got all these advanced kind of merge tags and everything. So every email is personalized, but it's the same message, because this is the type of thing that really should be the same, for every parent at that stage. And then they fill out the application form. Again, you get a task. So the system is sending out information to the parents, leading them to the next step automatically, creating tasks for you, reminding you where this parent needs this, or you need to do this for this parent. It's reminding you what you need to do for every prospective parent. And at any point in time, you can log in and you can see where somebody is or how many parents are at this stage, right? So you'll never lose track of any parents in your process, and the system's going to remind you to take action when you need to.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is our invoicing tool. So this is just kind of what, a few screenshots of what it looks like. The invoices are online. Parents can go there and they can pay with their credit card. They can log in and use their bank to pay. And they can also print off a PDF and bring you a check if you want to continue to accept checks. And then there's reporting, obviously. So there's accounts, and you can see where everything is. The parents also get a ledger. They can log in to their My Invoices section and see all their invoices and the status of all their invoices. You've got all the history of all the payments and where everything is at. And it's very easy to go in and see per account, like what's outstanding, or what's paid and all that stuff. So it's really easy to, and also at any point in time, you can easily just export this information into a spreadsheet if you need to, or anything like that.
I have a question. Excuse me. So when it says parents can pay the tuition online, they're doing it with their credit card?
Their credit card, or they can use their bank. They can use their it's like e-check. So it's actually better than ACH because it's more secure, and it's just it can just automatically withdraw from their checking account or their savings.
Where do those funds go?
It goes into your bank account.
Okay, so if it's used by credit card, because we don't have a payment system for credit cards, is that something that
We're the payment system, yeah.
Okay, so there's fees involved for that as well.
Yeah, so the fees are 2.99% on credit cards, and for e-check for the bank, it's like if they use their bank account, it's a 1% transaction fee. You have a lot of control in this area, actually. So there's a couple more things to tell you about. Number one, you can decide whether you want to allow them to pay with credit cards. So maybe you just want to, make them use their checking account, so it's only 1% transaction fee. As well, we allow you to forward the fees to the parents. So the way it works is you only have to, at any point, pay 1%. Even for credit card, you can just pay 1%, and then the parent would pay the additional 1.99%. And it would show up on their, it has to be done a certain way, but it shows up, basically what it does is it adds 1.99% onto the actual tuition. And they have the option to pay by credit card or by e-check, and then what it does is it shows them the difference in what they're paying. The reason why this works for a lot of schools is because a lot of parents actually want to pay on their credit card, even with a 1.99% fee, because they want to get the points. Because there's a lot of points to get with tuition, right? People really love getting points. So a lot of schools will say, listen, we don't want to, we created this because a lot of our customers are like, we don't want to pay 2.99%. And we don't necessarily, but our parents want to pay with credit card to get their points. So this is how it works. So basically, you can actually pay the whole thing if you want to. You can pay, so you can either not accept credit card at all, or you can, and you can either accept the full 2.99%, or you can forward 1.99% to the parents' fees, to the parents' invoice total. So you can kind of split it up however you want, basically. and then they can also, if you want to accept checks, they can just print off the invoice and bring you a check, and then you can enter the check in the system against and it'll bring it'll be marked in their payment history.
So they can see this at all times.
Let me ask you, of all the documents and everything that gets sent out, that's all being archived, right?
Yeah.
Is that secure? Where, I mean, because like for an enrollment form, it contains a personal identifying information as it relates to the child and even the parents. So we don't want. So how is treating that documentation?
Yeah. So we don't store any of their payment details. So you create I mean, it's getting really technical, but you when you sign up, you create a merchant account through Hubbli. The payment processor is called Paystand, which is a company that has all of the full PCI compliance and everything, and they actually handle all the processing. We are the interface that we've integrated with their payment processing, and so we're not actually storing all that personal data. They are, and they'll meet any requirements that you have, for sure. And also, now all of that information that we're sending, every single page in Hubbli it has SSL encryption, has secure socket layers. So every page in your Hubbli site is a secure page, and then all of our servers as well have SSAE 16 certifications. Like we meet any state requirements or federal requirements that you'll have over managing or sharing personal information.
Okay, now like the enrollment forms, that contains child's name, date of birth, social security numbers, and such. So does your company have access to this information?
Yeah.
You do?
Yep.
Okay. That's a problem. Because
not for any of our other customers.
Why would you guys need to have access to their information notes on the form?
It's encrypted. The information is encrypted, but we're managing that for you. So we're the service we're providing you the service, so you can collect it and have access to it. So
So you guys can just log in and look at all our students' information at any time.
Yeah. And any system that you use to do the same thing would have that too. And this is not this. I mean, again,
this information is stored on our computer. It's not sent to any server or any cloud system. They don't have access to it.
Yeah.
That information is stored
so
here.
So we use another system called ProCare. I don't know if you're with that. And that's what I'm talking about, that they don't store it.
We store our students' information. We're responsible for it, and nobody has access to it.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to use Hubbli for that scenario. Like we do a million other things. So that one particular form, if it's an issue for you, you can just not use that form on Hubbli. You don't have to. There's 1,000 other reasons to use Hubbli and many other scenarios that it's going to reduce. If you feel it's insecure for that particular data, then you just don't use it for that. It hasn't been an issue for any of our other customers, but everybody's different. Sorry?
Do most of your customers use this system, this part?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a commitment to you through, legally speaking. I mean, we're liable for it, and we have a system that's secures it, and I promise you, it's more secure than your personal computer.
So is this? I think this is being recorded, correct?
Yep.
Can we watch this again afterwards? Is this something?
Yeah. I'll send you a link to watch it again.
Great. Now, can you go over the cost of the system?
Sure. I'll get there in 1 minute. The next thing I want to just talk about is our support system. So you can, like at any point in time, we're very heavy on service. So you can call us or email us or select a pre-scheduled support session. And we've got a great knowledge base. We give you a lot of training, but we also have manuals available to you or your staff at any point in time with step-by-step instructions on how to do everything. And then our onboarding process is like for every school, it goes, when they sign up with us, they go through this. And so the different setup steps include, number one, an initial kickoff where we work with you just to get your site initially set up. And there's an online video training course that your staff can go through at any point. It's on demand. And we also do 10 30-minute daily coaching sessions for one of your staff members. So like whoever's going to be really like the main sort of Hubbli master. It's a very rigid program, but it's meant for like it's kind of created for somebody that's less tech savvy, and we just guide you through every step of the way, and it's kind of learning how to dance by standing on someone's feet, so to speak. So we make sure that by the end of that course, you're going to be really confident with where everything is and how things work. And then at the same time, while all that's happening, I'll actually just jump down to here for a second. This is just like a diagram. So you guys are in the green and our team is in the blue, basically. So what's happening is you have that initial kickoff. At that point, you're actually just going to dump everything on us, like send us your database and all your forms and all that stuff. And we're going to start setting it all up for you. So we have like an implementation team setting it up. And if you want to use Hubbli as a website or as an additional website, we'll just make it match your existing website. And so we handle all of that too. So from day one, I just want you to know, from day one, you've got access to all the features, and you get like the default website, which is just kind of like a blank, page, so to speak. Like it's set up, it has all the features, and it's configured in the default way, but it doesn't have your logo, and it doesn't have your content on it, and you have a lot of customization features and abilities on your Hubbli site. It's set up for somebody that's not using it as a public website. It's set up strictly for the logged in experience. But we will, if you want to use Hubbli as a website replacement or as another marketing platform to be found by new prospective parents, we'll set all that up for you. And while all of that is being set up, you're going through the training. So we have a lot of customers that are just more tech savvy. They're fine. They log in, they get everything. They don't need our training or help, and they just start using our features. At the same time, that's not usually the case with Montessori administrators. Like usually Montessori administrators, we find need a little bit more training and help. And so we're very heavy on the training through the setup. So it's up to you what you want to partake in. And that's just not Montessori. That's just school leadership in general are not necessarily the most tech savvy in the world, let's be honest. And then at that point, depending on what you wanted us to set up, we set it up for you, we show it to you, we get your approval and sign off and everything. And then, you can launch it to your community. So that's kind of like a standard setup process. I just want you to know that like we've also had schools that are like, they sign up with us and then that day they literally were going to send out their parent packet of like a stack of 30 sheets of paper to everybody. And we're just like, no, don't do that. Because like, that's just, it's going to be months of work for no reason. So they signed up and then they just emailed us their forms and we got all their forms ready for their parent packet. We converted them to digital forms and that day they sent out, so we can actually like jump on things and move things up in the queue or whatever. But this is just kind of our standard process. And so that's the whole onboarding thing. And that's why I wanted to make sure I talked about that before I talked about price, because the onboarding feature or its service has its own cost. It's a one-time fee. So all of that training and the site setup and all that stuff is all priced at $19.99. That's a one-time cost. So you get a website, fully designed website, optimized, set up, configured for your school with all of those features inside of it. and all that training, it's $19.99. So $1,999, not $19.99. And then going forward, like Hubbli, the cost of Hubbli is $199 a month. So that's giving you access to all these features, and that is our essentials package. So $199 a month is everything except for the tuition management piece. The tuition system is an additional $99 a month. And so a couple more things. We offer a few different options for payment. Number one, you can pay annually. So if you pay annually rather than monthly, we reduce the price by $600. So we reduce every month by $50. So if you're doing the essentials for $199, it gets priced at $149 per month, but you're paying for 12 months at a time. And we also have a no contract, relationship. Like you can cancel anytime. No contract in regards to payments. So like you don't have to. It's not like a 3-year term that you're locked into or anything like that. If you're not happy with us, you can leave us. We feel it's our job. It's a culture of our company that we're here to keep you as a happy customer. So if you want to leave at any point, you can. So let's say you're paying monthly. In month 4, you don't like it for some reason, you can cancel. And on top of that, if you do that within the first 60 days, you have a 100% money back guarantee. So if you sign up for us, you pay the $19.99. If you complete our onboarding process, that is the one condition for the refund. If you complete the full onboarding process, and you're not, you don't feel like it's a good fit, and you're not happy with it for whatever reason, we'll give you every penny back, no questions asked.
Do you have any other questions, Raymond?
No, I'd just like to make sure we can watch this video afterwards with the rest. We can get it by email or however that would work.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll send you a link that you can watch the video on in a few minutes after after we end today.
So I have a few questions. How do you mentioned how to keep that we could monitor how to keep students, parents, or see if they're fit for school, and is that when they do the inquiry form? That's how you kind of like.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the standard, way that it works. We can customize it in very different ways. We work with you to set up those processes and workflows and everything during that setup process. But the standard thing is, you'll have like a page on your Hubbli site. It'll have a form embedded in the page. So when they click on when they come from a Facebook ad, or they come to your website and they maybe click on a button that says contact us or inquire here, they click on it, takes them to the form, and they fill out the form, and then everything happens automatically, triggered by that form entry.
Okay, so you said there were 20 features on the right that you offer.
20 features?
Yeah, like 20.
Oh, there's a lot more than 20.
I thought you said 20 or something like that. Yeah, one would be the calendar. You're talking about the newsletters. You're talking about the text messaging, all those things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so for having you as a website and a marketing platform, what would be that price? Would that include the 1900?
Yeah, it's all included in that.
So how do you do the marketing? Do you post? How often do you post for us? Would it post on our Facebook page and our Instagram page? How would that work?
Sure. So we're not. So we're giving you the tools to do the marketing. So we're not actually we're not creating the content for you or doing the posts for you. We're giving you the platform and showing you how to use it. And that's, the website is the location.
My post and then send it through Hubbli. Would that link into our Facebook and Instagram?
So we don't integrate with Facebook or Instagram. So Hubbli gives you a website, and in that website, there's the ability to put blog posts on, which are really important for marketing purposes. Um, and and but we're not like sending out posts to other channels. Like you would have to do that yourself, or find another tool that does that. And we can certainly give you recommendations on that. But then what you would want to do is have those posts link back to your Hubbli site, or link back to a landing page if you're doing a particular campaign. We do offer a lot of education on how to operate marketing strategies. We do a lot of webinars, and we have a lot of blog posts on the subject, and we do offer consulting in that area where it's like an additional fee, like it's just a service that you can pay for if you want to hire us to do like marketing consulting or something like that. We are certainly experts in that area, but it's not part of the Hubbli, like the software. It's the software that you're signing up for. It's the tool that you're paying for. It's not actual marketing services.
All right. Okay. Do you have any other questions?
No, thank you. We were
Aside, I get the one thing I guess that is kind of like a marketing service, but it's done through technology, is that your Hubbli pages, like your Hubbli site, will be indexed, they'll be found on Google searches better than any other website you create on your own. So the point is that like our technology is all built to, with all the elements that Google is looking for, and because we're part of this, your site would be part of a much larger network of sites. There's a whole bunch of reasons. I can get into the technical stuff. I don't know if you'd be interested, but essentially, when a school keeps their main website and uses Hubbli as an additional website, like an extension of their website, like our website, the Hubbli site generally always gets a better ranking and gets found on other terms than their main school site is found on. And that's usually a result of their main website isn't being managed. Like it's not being managed by like a top-notch web developer or anything. So it's lacking technology, and it's also doesn't necessarily it's like there's two things that make that happen. Number one, there's the technology. Number two, there's how the technology is being used. So we actually push you to use the technology the correct way through our system. So we make it really easy for you to, optimize your website for certain keywords, and we show you inside the system how well this page is optimized for those keywords. So we really make it hard, to do it the wrong way, basically.
Okay.
Yes. So what is your where are you guys at with the decision on this? Like, what's your process at this point going forward?
Well, we are going to have our kind of have like a board. So we're with the board, and that's why he was asking you if we had a link to it, because they're gonna ask us questions that I'm probably forgetting how to answer.
Okay.
So well, on Friday we have a meeting with them, and then we'll see. And this is, I think that it's a very useful tool for us that we can definitely take advantage of. So we will present it to them, and then we would then contact you and see how we go forward.
Yeah, we really like your options and the approach that you're using, and all these opportunities that you're giving the parents is more than the ones that we are using.
And that's what we're looking for.
What we like.
Something to facilitate our administration process and so forth.
Yeah, because it's about timing. It's about time and the day, at the end of the day, also, and being efficient to reach the parents. So we do really like it. I have a question. Let's say we go on board with you. How you're gonna give us some training, and then you'll give us some information to give the parents on, because this will be a new way to connect So we will
That
we
would
also
be-
have an
that would be
orientation
in-
day and all of that. I guess you will provide us with the tools for that.
Yeah, so there's a couple things in, basically when you're ready to launch it with your parent, are you hearing me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. So when you launch it with your parents, you're gonna, we're gonna kind of queue up a newsletter from Hubbli to your parents that has like a standard kind of like introduction. You can completely rewrite it or do it from scratch, but we've got like a template that a lot of schools think is, we've got it kind of worded for you pretty well. And then also, from the parents' perspective, when they log in, there isn't much to learn. So first of all, if you recall, everything is just going to start coming to them where their email address is or their phone. They don't really, there's not much for them to learn. A lot of times they don't even need to log in, and that's a good thing. And then when they do log in, it takes them where they need to go. It shows them everything. It's, if they are comfortable using Facebook, we've actually for a lot of our design, we've copied Facebook because we want it to be something that's familiar to them and something that they just understand, naturally because it matches their existing behaviors and tools that they already use. So it's pretty straightforward. There isn't really a need for them to have like training or help documents and stuff like that. That said, we have had customers that wanted to kind of go that extra mile and create like a video, and we helped them, like they even created like a video kind of explaining things or a document explaining things, and you can ask us, like you can either do it yourself or you can say, hey, we want to create like a page with this information for the parents on our Hubbli site, and so we can put it wherever you need. Again, it's all these things are easy for you to do yourself, but we also understand that at the beginning there's a learning curve and there's a lot to transition over. So we do it all for you upon your request. It's
Great.
so it's kind of a concierge experience at the beginning. We want you to, and we want that to also be throughout. But at the beginning, very much we're heavy, like we are going to chase after you rather than you chasing it, because we know you guys are too busy to remember that you need to do things. So you're going to get calls and emails from us, and we're going to be pushing you to schedule meetings and stuff like that because we want to make sure that you're successful with it.
Perfect. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. One other question I had for you is, generally speaking, when it's so you have a board that has to approve this. Is that correct?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
yeah, I'll kind of make the decision together just to make sure that we're.
Yeah. Okay. So I get the sense that I'm talking to like decision makers, but I understand that you want to have everyone's kind of, you want everyone's sort of consensus on it, and that's very important, of course. My question is, are you in a position, because there's a 60-day money-back guarantee, and what I would like to do is offer you a discount for you guys to sign up today. That would, at the same time, so you get the chance to save a substantial, chunk of money from the sign up, but you also have that 60-day period to, if you guys decide it's not a good fit, there's no risk there. So what I'd like to do is offer you a 20% discount off the setup, and that would save basically $400. And as well, you're going to have, if you want to sign up today and go do the annual payment, I can basically give you one free month.
Okay.
Can you give us an hour to discuss it, or does it have to be right now on this recording?
No, what I can do is you can certainly take an hour, absolutely. I can send you an invoice that it'll have these discounts and all that stuff on it, and you can pay it with your credit card online. The discounts will expire today, but you can have it. And if you want, I'm actually, just so you know, I can also invite you to at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'm doing a webinar today with Jonathan Wolf on the topic of how to improve and simplify parent engagement. So Jonathan's we're hosting it, but Jonathan's joining us as a co-presenter. It's going to be amazing. So you guys should join us.
A webinar?
Sorry?
How long is the webinar?
It's going to be an hour. So it's at 1 o'clock, so 1 till 2.
I've been trying to join your sessions, but it's just something always
It's
happens.
hard.
Yes. So, you'll send me a link for that?
Yeah, I'll send it along with the quote as well. So what I'll do is I'll send you a recording of this. So when I send the quote, I'll include a link to the recording. I'll send you a link to go register for the webinar today as well. And also, obviously, all the quote information will be there, and it'll include the discounts and all that stuff that I just talked about.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for taking the time with me today to learn about it.
By email, in respect to our decision, or do we call you? What do you want to prefer?
Yeah, thanks for asking. The quote will give you the ability to like accept the quote and pay the fee. Yeah. So and I guess let me just ask, because this is one thing I do need to know before the quote. Do you think you would prefer to pay monthly, or and just pay the regular price monthly, or would you want to pay annually, get the $600 off plus the free month?
I think we do the monthly.
Monthly? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be, now would that be $199 per month for the essentials, or would you want the tuition add-on, which brings it to $289?
The tuition add-on.
Okay. All right. And okay, great. So I'll send that off to you today. And awesome.
All right. Thank you so much.
Can you give us? I mean, I know I said an hour, but I need to go run an errand, and I cannot, which I'm already late for, and I need some time. So, can we have until the close of business today?
Yes. Yeah. It'll end at the at the end of today. It'll expire today. So, like up until sorry, that's John Wolf calling me. Just give me one quick second, guys. I apologize.
Do you like this, Valentina? But one free one from Carlos. I was waiting for him.
Hi, sorry guys. So yeah, so that's fine. So it'll expire like the end of business, like basically 5 p.m. today.
Okay.
All right. So thanks so much, and you'll get all that stuff from me pretty soon.
All right, I'll wait for your email.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Bye.